This is Gene DeLisio with a featured sports interview from WDLB and WOSQ. One of the early pioneers of Marshfield Tiger girls athletics was Kathy Ohnesorge, who was inducted into the Marshfield Tiger Athletic Hall of Fame in the fall of 2011.
Well, this is a wonderful opportunity. I'm excited to be inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame. It's unexpected, but well appreciated. You look at the experiences you had in high school, and especially that were offered to female athletes, and you look back, it's really fun, but it's especially meaningful that somebody noticed.
Well, you did have an outstanding career at Marshfield High School in an era when girls athletics was just getting started. First of all, can you go back before high school maybe and talk about your athletic experiences and some opportunities you may have had or some things you may have done to get yourself involved in athletics?
I think it was just that I was a tomboy, and we'd have the football games and baseball games in the neighborhood and pickup games, and the boys would let me play because I was good enough to play. And I think that it didn't intimidate me to play with the boys, and on playgrounds and grade schools and things like that you played sports and they wanted you on their team. So
Now, most women that I talked to who were involved in athletics in that era didn't understand that they were, the word pioneer was used a lot tonight, didn't understand that. They just said it was natural. I'm in high school, I go out and play athletics, not knowing that they were the first really to do that. What was your experience in that situation of going out playing athletics, and yet it was so new for a school or for most people?
Well, partner, I'm being a pioneer. Well, my mom had one of the GAA medals when she was a girl that I wore her medal. And I didn't even know what that meant, but it was kind of cool. And I know we had to battle for gym space, and that we couldn't play on the football field at certain times of the day, and really we're not supposed to be out there at all. So it made you kind of angry, and it's like, well, why not? Why can't I? And I think too, when you played with the boys in the sports and they let you play, all of a sudden it's one like, why can't I? And why is it just for boys, and why can't we do that? So you experience some of those feelings. So when our coaches said that, we would be able to have gym time, you just were appreciative of anything that you were able to do. And you still wondered why can't we have that prime time? But as long as we got some time and equipment, it was great.
Did you question why you were kind of limited in sports? You ran track, you were involved in swimming, but you didn't have the number of sports available to you as the guys did?
We didn't even care at that time. We were oblivious to that. It was just a matter of, we didn't count how many sports do we have versus how many that they have. But it's when we wanted gym space, when we wanted to do something, and they said, no, you can't. I think it was that just when you're like a little kid, when mom and dad say, no, you can't, and you want to either fight them or you accept it, well, we're kind of fighters.
You were mentioning the influence of your coaches and your gym teachers of that era. Tell us about their influences on you.
Well, I think it's really, they really make such an impact that they believe in you so much, or they challenge you and ask you to do something, and it's like, yeah. And you spend so much time. Kathy Ohnesorge and I spent a lot of time, we were kind of our gym assistants, and now some kids get credit for being an assistant to the gym teacher. In those days, we just loved it so much. In our open periods during like modular scheduling, we'd go in and be able to help out the gym teacher, or during class. We had those experiences that we would do anything for. And I think that relationship was very tight and very close. And you wanted to perform for them just because you had that relationship, and it was fun. It's like, okay, we'll do it.
Well, can you kind of talk about some of the highlights of your track career for us?
I guess at the time it didn't mean as much as I started looking back through the yearbooks, through my scrapbooks and things like that, and started looking at when we started. I don't know if they limited the amount of events you could be in, but they put me in so many different events, and all of a sudden I'm running 10 events and winning the events, and then more girls are coming out, so it's like, wow, we got to be fair and let somebody else run something. But it was like you just did whatever you were asked to do. And like I said, we were on at the speech this evening, the cinder track. And my coach says, well, we don't have anybody in the hurdles. Would you try hurdles? And you look at those things on that cinder track and thinking, I could really hurt myself here. And I said, I'll try it, but when I fall, I'm not going to do them anymore. And I didn't fall, and it got faster, and it was fun. The track, it was fun to be out there. I can't explain it. It was just something that you just kept doing, and it gave you such great joy. That whatever event, and it's running, jumping, and things that I did naturally all my life, that now they measure you, they see how fast it is, and go, oh, that's good. Now let's see if you can go faster than that.
There is so much discussion today about specialization in sports and specialization within a sport, I suppose, but the fact that you were involved in so many events running track and field, I guess specialization was not an option for you. Was that an advantage to you back in that era?
I just look at now, too. I've coached kids and taught in Phi-Ed kids that as soon as they could hold a ball, kick a ball, run an event, their parents started them doing that. And they experience burnout by the time that they are able to do the event for the recognition, for the scholarships, for whatever goal that they had set. And you see so many kids dropping by the wayside. Sometimes I wonder if it's really, does it lose the fun? When it almost like makes it a career and takes the fun out of the activity for the child. And then if they injure themselves, they're devastated because they have set that goal, and now what do they do? Because their parents or whomever have set that, well, you're going to go to college, you're going to be the next NBA player, you're going to be, and when something happens that they're not, I've seen it being devastated. So we have to be careful not to take the fun out of it, and that it's not the only thing. And I know myself, I didn't go out for sports in college, which is a big regret of mine. And I think as a teacher, you look at who are you doing it for. And that was a big aha for myself, that I had the hometown crowd and I had all these people following me, and I lost that when I went to college. And what I'm seeing now with my children and so many athletes coming in, they put you in mentor groups and study groups and for sports, that they give you a balance with athletics and education, and help you to see that it's not the only thing, but it's one of the things that you're good at, and have that sense of community, and that you're not there out by yourself doing it for somebody, that it can be for you and it's for the team.
You went to the state track meet in 1972. Had to be one of the first, I would guess, one of the first girls state track and field championships. What was that experience like?
Unbelievable. As a sophomore, a freshman, being with the upperclassmen, but in '72 when I placed second in state in hurdles, and I didn't get first because I turned around because I couldn't believe I was out in front, and when I turned around to look behind me, somebody passed me, and so I'm like, I could have had first. Unbelievable. I mean, to be at a state meet, and I think just small town kid, and when you see all these people, and I think that was one of those things too, that I know in my long jump every year I psych myself out because that the pressure and thinking about you have to succeed now, instead of even how I teach now, that let's measure your steps. No matter where you go, it's going to be the same wherever you go. So it taught me to be a better teacher. And looking at myself, I wish that's one thing too, that coaches, to look at how can we calm, what's another way that we can get the person out of their head, the competition, and put them back into, you can do this, this is how you do this, you've always done this, go do it.
I want to ask you about your swimming career at Marshfield High School also, because you mentioned you were a tomboy and got your early experiences from playing with the guys on the playground, and that probably did help you in track and field, but probably not a whole lot in swimming. So how did the swimming career begin for you at Marshfield High School?
I think it was there, and I laugh because Mr. Kaler's here too, and when I was good they tried me at basketball at junior high. Well, she can run, so she should be able to play basketball, and I would run into people and get fouled, and I'm like, well, they got in my way. I shouldn't be fouled. I didn't grasp the rules of the game very well, but I could dribble and shoot, but I didn't know the rules so well. The swimming, again, it was one of those things that I had strong legs and I was very competitive nature. And once they showed us how to do the strokes, and we were expected to do all the strokes, and then they just put us in to where we were needed, and you did your job. And then with times you did well, and sometimes they put me in butterfly or breaststroke and I'd be disqualified. So I think the coaches learned, okay, she can't do this, and it was a great learning curve for everybody. But the relays, being fast in your event, and then the coaches knowing where to put you as a team and where you could do best to get scores were good too, that they were.
How about competing at the state meet in swimming?
Exciting again. I mean, the noise level when you get in there, and it was an exciting time. Anytime you reach that level, I just think it's kind of surreal, and you just did it, and you hope for the best and hope you placed.
I've asked most of the guys that I talk to, I'll talk to them and say, okay, now, when you were before high school and you were in elementary school, grade school, tell us about the guys you looked up to in the high schools, the guys you played on the playgrounds with, the guys that were your mentors as you came through, the older kids who were in high school. I would imagine you did not have that. You did not have a mentor. You did not have girls you looked up to in high school because there were no girl athletes. So was that a difficulty, a problem for you? Was that something you ever thought about?
I never thought about it. My dad was an athlete. Looking through the scrapbooks with basketball and boxing and things like that he was in the paper. Again, he never said you should or shouldn't do anything, but he said you should always be the best and put the effort into whatever you do and do the best you can. One thing I remember always laughing about, and I guess because I played sports in whatever it was in grade school, I didn't think anything of it, but I beat all the girls running, etc., in track in junior high and high school. So they always had me run against the boys and work out with the boys to give me that extra push. So when I needed it in competition, they had somebody that was always in front of me. And Yvonne Myers, when she put the write-up in, she says, well, why do you run so fast? And I had said, because I don't like anybody in front of me. So when they put me with boys, I always had to go try to beat them.
Well, great career at Marshfield High School. Kathy, anything else about your career here that you'd like to talk about?
No, just basically that there were great people and very supportive. Mr. Knapp was outstanding. He was in my neighborhood. And I think just the teachers and the principal and those people believing in you and coming to see you and cheering on the sidelines, no matter whether it was your teammates or the fans, it always motivated you and you wanted to do the best. And then it was for your town and for the records and to keep the history great in our great town of Marshfield.
Former Marshfield Tiger athletic standout Kathy Ohnesorge inducted into the Marshfield Tiger Athletic Hall of Fame in the fall of 2011. This is DeLisio reporting for WDLB and WOSQ.